Hey everybody, I'm back with another video finally, after being back from vacation. So, I thought, I'd just do a little discussion video. So basically what I'm going to be covering in this video is the newly revealed games Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon for 3DS. Now, so far we haven't had a whole lot of gameplay. In fact, we haven't had any gameplay at all. We've had some concept art basically, and we've had one look at a new Pokemon, possibly a bird of some sort. Funny thing, I was actually in Hawaii during spring break and I saw a lot of birds that look like the one from the concept. So I've seen some theories, I might link it down below, but there's a theory that the game might be taking place in a region based on Hawaii. So basically what I want to do in this video is give some of my predictions for the game and some things I like to see, some things I do think are going to return, and basically what I think I'm going to see in the gameplay, first gameplay footage, because 2 days from now, April 2nd, April 3rd in Japan, they are showing basically some representatives from the Pokemon Company are going to appear on a Japanese show where they're going to show off some of the first Sun and Moon gameplay. Now, basically I'm going to get right into it and start with my number one thing, which now these are in no particular order. I'm not saying I find one of these one more important than the other, but basically it's just the order I'm going to go over them in. Now, number one is character customization. Now, X and Y brought in character customization for your trainer, which was probably one of the best features in that game. In my opinion, not from a gameplay standpoint, but it's fun. You can give your trainer personality, and you can make yourself different from everybody else, which is something you couldn't do in past games. Now, in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, this feature wasn't included in the game. However, I believe the reason for this is probably because they wanted to stay more true to the original characters of Brenton and May. They didn't want you to be able to change the original characters. This was a remake of Ruby and Sapphire, not, a new game like X and Y where the trainer is brand new and can be changed to the player's will. So I do think it is going to return. I think it's very likely because it was such a loved feature and it's been asked for ever since Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire when it wasn't included. So hopefully that will return. Our number two thing is more fairy types. Now, fairies are great, but I think we do need some more. So far we have seen Magiarna, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, Magiarna. It's a good start, a steel fairy type, which gives it the poison immunity and a neutral fire weakness. So basically the only weakness I can see in it, although, no, can't see any weaknesses just off the top of my head right now, but possibly steel. I don't remember how steel matches up with steel. But basically, Magiarna is a good start, but hopefully we'll see some more. I'm not saying for Gen 7 they need to take spots of new types or other Pokemon for more fairies. I'm not saying that there needs to be less water, dark, fire, and grass types in order to make room for more fairies. I just think we should have some more fairies because it's the new type. So obviously, they did change some old Pokemon like the Maroline, the Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff. They did change some old ones, but obviously fairy types I don't believe have numbers like other types do. So hopefully some new fairy types would help shake up the distribution of types, basically. So number 3 on our list is Megas, and I've seen this come at a bit of a controversy recently because some people seem to believe that Megas are going to be removed from Gen 7 and they're only a 6th gen exclusive. Now what I believe about this is I do think Megas will return in some way. who knows, maybe even the Mega Ring will be given to you post-game and won't be a big part of the story anymore. But honestly, I do think they're going to stay because it's quite a big new game mechanic, and they haven't seemed to remove many things that they add. They do, not to say that they don't remove anything, but I do think Megas are here to stay, and we've had them, now it's hard to believe, but we've had Megas for years now. It's been years since X and Y came out. I do think they are going to return, and some Megas I would like to see, just a short little list, would be Luxray, probably make it a dark electric type, Dragonite, which some people may be like, oh, you're going to give Dragonite a Mega, it's already too powerful. I do think Dragonite should get a Mega, because, you know, it's one of those classic Pokemon like Gyarados or Gengar. It's one of those first gen Pokemon that everybody remembers, and I think it would be great for it to have a Mega. Honestly, I am very hopeful and confident that this will happen at some point, but Mega Frostlass, because Glalie got its Mega, but of course Frostlass didn't. The thing is, this to me seems like a Gardevoir Gallade situation, where one's going to get the Mega first, and in the next game, the other Pokemon will get a Mega. Now lastly are the Johto starters. I believe the Johto starters should be next to get a Mega, due to the fact that 1st gen and 3rd gen have a Mega. They kind of skipped over 2 due to the way the game's released. And Gold and Silver remakes, again, seems pretty likely, and if we were to see that, we wouldn't see it for years and years and years, because of Heart Gold and Soul Silver's release. Also, I do think they are eventually going to release a Mega for every starter, because, well, why would Charizard and Blastoise and Venusaur get one, but not Delphox and Greninja, for example? Of course, speaking not in the Pokemon universe, that's not going to happen yet, because those 6th gen starters were just released, but hopefully we'll see those soon. So, number 4 is more new Pokemon than X and Y. Now, before I get complaints about this and people saying this and that, I have my reasons. Now, the X and Y developers had quite a bit on their plate with the games, and I'm pretty sure everybody can agree on that. They couldn't just add as many Pokemon as other games because they had so much to do already. This is just my theory on why this is. For example, they had to redo the cries. They redid all the Pokemon's cries. That's 721 Pokemon. The 3D engine, I mean, they took a 2D 16-bit whatever it was in Black and White. They took that and converted it to a 3D engine. Not convert, that's not a... They ported, I'm not sure what terminology you'd use for that, but they had to model and rig all the Pokemon, all 721. So modeling, obviously, you know what modeling is. They had to rig them, which means they had to animate them and do all that. New features in general. There were new mechanics. There were all sorts of things. There was roller skating, which, while it may not be the largest feature, it's something new, and they added a lot. So I just don't think they simply had the time. Some people were disappointed that there were only 60 to 70 or something new Pokemon in X and Y, but I myself was a bit disappointed, but I've come to understand because of these reasons, which I believe are it. So, the last thing I have here, and I have a reason, as I do with all my other ones, so don't go down in the comments and complain until I'm done explaining. Now, my last point is I'd like to see a female professor or evil team leader, one or the other, and just good characters in general. Now, some are going to say, like, what's with all this feminist crap, which I don't think it is. I'm not going to go into all this feminism sucks, because I don't believe that. I believe feminism is a good thing. It's just it gets a bad rap because of some people. And deep down they do want to do good, but anyways, it's a thing I'm not going to go into right now. But honestly, it's just we don't have many good characters or female characters in general. And like, I'm a guy saying this, and I don't think there are many good female characters. In X and Y, people found Shauna annoying, which I did as well. She wasn't the most annoying character ever in any game, in my opinion. But she wasn't great, in my opinion, either. She was boring at times and annoying at some. And Serena, I just found boring. I know some people like the character of Serena, and her personality definitely does expand further than the games in the anime. However, in the games, she just seemed boring to me. She didn't have big personality. Like two characters. I have two examples of two characters. One would be Barry, the rival from Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. He was in a rush, he was fast, he was always moving, he was all over the place. And throughout his journey, you kind of got to see him learn that he's always in a rush, he's got to slow down sometimes. And you know what, he never really did lose entirely that spirit, but he was an interesting character and he had personality, always saying he was going to fine you for $1 million or whatever. And the second character I'm thinking of is Silver. I believe that's his name, because you get to name him, obviously, because he's your rival in the games. But Silver, the red-haired boy from Heart Gold and Soul Silver, he was mysterious and dark, evil, which was not something all the rivals were. Some of the rivals, like Gary or Blue, were mean, but none of them were truly evil like Silver was, in a way. I know there are many theories about Silver, which is what makes him such a great character. There's so much to wonder with him. There's some stuff that's still a mystery. Maybe he isn't actually an evil character, but he did steal Pokemon at the beginning, and that was something that you didn't see in other games. So what I think is we need some more dynamic characters in general, to be honest. Like, just good characters. Tierno and Trevor I didn't find super interesting either. They had their personalities, I guess. That's probably just more of a personal opinion that I didn't like them. But, and I liked X and Y as a game. I don't dislike any of the main series Pokemon games. But when it came down to it, X and Y definitely isn't my favorite. But, it was the transition to 3D and everything, and I feel they did do well for what they ended up giving us. So, here's the other thing about a female professor. We did get Professor Juniper, yes. And then came Sycamore. They don't all have to be young and attractive. Basically. It's not that that's a bad thing. They can have those, honestly. But just don't make them all like that, It's fine to have an old, grumpy professor like Rowan. Rowan was interesting and honestly intimidated me a bit as a kid. Now, female evil team leader we actually haven't seen, and I'd actually like to see that. As I said, not just for equality reasons, but because that's pretty, it's something we haven't seen. It would be something new and fresh to the series. So I'm going to end this with how many things have I got here? I've got about 5 things I think that we're going to see in this gameplay preview in 2 days. Now, the first thing that I believe we're going to get is the trainer design, the default trainer design, to be exact, because, for example, Callum and Serena, you could customize, but they did start with their original outfits, and those were basically the 2 X and Y trainers. That's what they looked like before you put their customized clothes on. The second thing I think we're going to see are the starters, or at least silhouettes of the starters. I believe we saw silhouettes in Black and White. they showed us silhouettes before we actually saw the actual starters. So at the very least, we're gonna get that, the silhouettes, but perhaps even the Pokemon themselves. The third thing is, I'm guessing at the end of the trailer, we'll see the legendaries like we did in the X and Y trailer. Like when we saw Xerneas and Veltal. And number 4, we've got the battle screens. So some gameplay of some battling, like, with the HP bars and the fight screen or whatever, maybe just the top screen. But I like seeing the new look that all the HP bars and stuff, it's just a small change for me I like seeing. And finally, maybe even a glimpse at the evil team, just like a quick shot of, some sinister looking characters that make us think, oh, that must be Team Blank. So this is my first discussion video. I hope to make more in the future, as well as some news videos. Don't worry, I'm going to continue other stuff I've done before. This isn't all the channel is going to be, but thank you all so much for watching. And I didn't get to do a video on this. It's kind of an awkward number of subscribers, but I'm grateful anyway for now over 7,500 subscribers. So thank you all so much for that. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment, and if you think you have a friend who'd like it, share. And I guess I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.